welcome. We are going to be making Flynn Rider today because I decided I wanted to make a cosplay for my boyfriend. He's never cosplayed before, but also I specifically wanted to make Flynn Rider so that we could do Flynn Rider and Rapunzel together at Welligen, and also so we could do a photo shoot in the forest because I really want to do a proper Rapunzel photo shoot and do her justice, get the frying pan, do all the things. Plus Flynn Rider, obviously. So I started out with printing out a pattern that I bought off Etsy of a vest, just a normal vest pattern. I couldn't find any Flynn Rider vest patterns specifically online, so I'm gonna have to alter the pattern to make it more screen accurate. So I'll just show you what I've done so far. Here we are, as you can see, I've just printed out these patterns and put them together. I'm using beautiful zebra washi tape because I couldn't find my other tape and that was all I had. And I'm just about to start cutting this out so that I can make my first mock-up. Also, look, I got my nails done. I'm in my most comfy, slouch t-shirt because it's a sewing day. I've also got, comfy jeans with adjustable. I always try and be as comfortable as I can if I'm sewing. Plus, hair tied up, and I basically just, got out of bed and was like, okay, let's do the pattern, let's go. So, you know. Success on the start of the vest. We've just mocked it up very simply with this, and obviously it's not for me, so I still have to get Theo to try it on, but it's looking pretty good. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to pattern sleeves because Flynn Rider has little sleeves, and I'm going to pattern a collar and just test out how I want the collar to sit because it kind of sticks up. It's not a big collar, it's just a little collar. And then the final thing is that I'm going to start marking out because there's a bunch of quilted kind of details in this, and it's got lots of different parts on it, so I need to start marking that out and figuring out, because what I'm planning on doing is using batting underneath my turquoise fabric to sew the designs into. It's not very thick batting, it's quite thin, but I think it'll do the job. I still have to get the brass bolts that he's got all over his jacket, and also to figure out how I'm going to do the buckle up. I'm glad that this pattern has worked out well because it feels like it'll work and is the right size for what I need, so yay. I just made myself a chai latte and I'm now ready to pattern the collar piece. Now with the collar piece, I've patterned a collar before. Basically, it's similar vibe to a sleeve where you kind of just have to do trial and error and make a couple of copies and see how it goes. So I'm going to measure around the length of the neckline based off the pattern that I've got. And then I'm going to just draw something out on paper and see how it goes. Yum. But I think we're tracking along well. Up next, I do want to try and make sure that I am doing some quilting layout, so it's way easier for me to draw the lines on, and also do a bit of practice because I've not done much quilting before. Okay, as you can see, I've done some mapping out of design details. So these are quilting lines, the one that I've drawn on here, and this is the little flap that goes over. I'll just show you that little flap right there. So that is going to be an extra piece of fabric, which I actually need to add seam allowance. I need to add seam allowance to a fair amount of my things, but let's just ignore that. So that's going to be, but I'm trying to figure out whether I want it there or here. So yeah, doing that, and then more quilting. I need to map it out on the back as well. This is where the buckles are going to go. I was just also trying to figure out, I think there's 5 buckles, so I was like, okay, where are they going to go? I'm basically putting off cutting into my main fabric until I absolutely have to. So good morning. So it's day 2, and let me update you on the rest of the stuff that I did yesterday. So I took my mock-up to Theo and I got him to do a fitting, which I'm really glad I did. Always do your fittings if you can, because the armhole was a little bit too tight on him. So you can kind of see I've just ripped it apart here and I marked where he needs his armhole. So I'm adding about 5 centimeters, maybe 4 centimeters on, and so I've already made those adjustments to the pattern, but it does mean I need to change the sleeve pattern as well, and the vest flap pattern, little pattern thing, which is fine. again, this is why we do it. I've also figured out that I want the lines on the vest to be 4 centimeters, and I'm just going to do that for the top and the bottom lines, make it even, because they're slanting in different directions. It looks pretty good. I could have gone with 3 centimeters, but I thought that was just a bit too small and looked a bit too stripy. Like, I know it is lines, but I want it to be like details instead of like, oh look, it's a stripy top. So I will just quickly show you. Oh yes, and I'm about to pan the collar to make sure that I've got like all the seam allowance I need on that as well. Today I'm hoping to like finish off the pattern completely and cut out the fabric and the lining, and hopefully get sewing, but I'm not in too much of a, like, I don't need to sew today because I also have some packing to do because I'm moving out in like a week. So I definitely need to be packing as well. Alright, hello. Let me give you a little bit of an update on where we're at with the Flynn Rider cosplay, or the vest. So yesterday I had a sewing day with my friend Gabby. We sometimes do sewing days where we just like meet up at one of our houses and bring our machines and we just work on whatever project we're doing, and we yap and we catch up, and it's really nice. And I got a lot of stuff done, but it does mean that I don't really have much time to film. I have some shots, don't worry, but I started with the quilting. So my main project that day was quilting. So I'll just show you what I've done. Here's the back. Oh, I don't know why that looks bent. Here's the back of the vest. So what I did first was I overlocked the batting and the turquoise fabric all together. And I did that on every single piece. Like, here's the sleeve, here's another piece, and then, so I did that on literally every piece. And then what I started to do was I quilted the entire pattern of the Flynn Rider vest. So here you can see the little flap thing that he's got. Obviously it's not sewn down on the armholes or at the front yet, but it's looking more and more like a Flynn Rider vest. I also, yeah, let's have a little look. So we've got darts all on the inside. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 darts. So pretty happy with that. I've also sewed together the lining pieces. So yeah, now it's just construction left because everything has been quilted. Here's the collar as well. It looks really stupid on me, but there's the collar. And the sleeves have got these little like border kind of thing. It was a really fun day. I got a lot done, as you can tell. It was about 5.5 hours worth of sewing, give or take, bearing in mind that I was yapping for a lot of it, so I was a bit distracted. Let's have a look at the lining. The lining is nothing special. It's literally, I found some poplin from Pete's Emporium, and here's the lining. It's just gonna go on the inside. I've yet to actually put the darts in the back, so I gotta do that because I was like, no, I don't want to put the darts in the back, but I need to just put the darts in the back. Whatever. I was just searching for the hardware to show you because I also got hardware from Pete's Emporium for the jumper. So I got hardware for the vest. So I'll just show you that. We have these really lovely buckles. I have, I think, 5 or 6 buckles. There you go. I don't know if you can see them, but they are a brass color. And those are going to go down the front of the jacket and then be closed with a little turquoise tag thing. It's not exactly canon. It's the best that I could do with the resources that I had. Then I found these little brass stud things. Funny story about these. So I basically looked everywhere for these. Spotlight, Pete's Emporium. That's my iron, just ignore that. Shush. I looked everywhere. Spotlight, Pete's Emporium, Bunnings, everywhere, okay? I couldn't find the brass like studs that I wanted in the right size, in the right color, and what I needed. So I was looking in Pete's Emporium. Okay, actually I did find them in Pete's Emporium. I was looking again in the craft section and I found these, and it turns out these are actually like drawer handles. So they're supposed to have this really long screw that goes with them. and then it's supposed to be like a drawer handle. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm probably gonna hot glue it. Let's be real. But they go all along here. So they'll go all along, but like on the inside, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna have to like cut a hole and like insert them in, which I've yet to do. I don't know if I showed you already, but we also have sorted some boots. These are like Theo's boots that he has, and they're really awesome. We also have a belt, a very, very cool belt. It's got a gold buckle, it's nice and thick, and it's very Flynn Rider adjacent. Also Theo's. Same thing with the pants. I don't need to make pants anymore because he's got some pants. So pretty easy, pretty awesome. I still have yet to purchase the wig. Okay, it clearly doesn't fit me and my wide shoulders, but I got my dad to try it on and it fits him really well. I'm honestly still a little bit worried about the size of the sleeve, but I figure that if the sleeve is too, what's it called? Too small, too tight, then I can just change it again. But I did alter it to his size, so I'm just fingers crossed that it's gonna work. If not, I guess I can take some out. I just hope it fits him. The darts in the back were definitely a good idea. I'm just so excited to see how it's gonna look. Like, it already looks so clean. I'm like, that's right. And then imagine, you got a sleeve on here. Sleeve. I'm actually so happy because I just made this collar and look at that. Ugh, it's so clean. So I just top stitched all the back. This is the back of it, by the way. I know. And I can't wait to sew this on the vest. It's gonna look so cool. Okay, I had to show this to you guys because I just added the collar. Look, okay. Look at it. It's so cool. Oh my gosh. Flynn Rider. Do a little spoiler. Obviously the lining is not on yet, okay, but the vision is coming and the sleeves aren't on yet. But let me show you what I did with the collar. So, like I was showing you in the other video, I top stitched everything, and to attach it, I just fully went ahead and just attached it like you would any other one. Yes, I've got 2 raw seams, but the plan is I'm gonna put a lining on the whole inside of this, and then the lining will also cover, like I'll do the stitch just above there, so it should also cover all of those raw edges, which I'm kind of like, my lining's a bit thin, but I'm just fingers crossed and hoping that it's gonna be fine. We've got quite a few thick seams here, is my only thing. It's because of the batting, it's a little bit thick, but I think it's gonna be okay. And then what I'm gonna do with the sleeves is I'm gonna treat them similarly to how I would a collar, and I'll like flip them inside out, and then after I've added the lining on, I'll put the lining on the sleeves, and then I'll put the sleeves onto the jacket, so then and then I'll put the lining to cover that raw edge, the lining of the sleeves, I mean. So it should be fully lined and you can't see any of this batting. But before I do that, before I do any of the lining stuff, I need to add on the buckles, because I don't want the stitching to go through to the lining, because that'll look messy on the inside. So what I need to do is I need to roll this over just by like a centimeter, so that we have a finished edge, first of all, which again, look how poofy this is. Does this want to be folded over in half? I guess we'll make it work. And then I'm going to make little tiny fabric squares, and I'm going to put 5 evenly spaced fabric squares on this. I'm going to put a little fabric loop to attach the buckle to. I still have to figure this out, so don't help me do this. And then I'll do on the other side the correct thing, so then we should have a closed jacket, enclosable jacket. So we have figured out how to put on the buckles. I've made these little tabs here out of turquoise things. Oh yeah, by the way, I scratched myself with a needle. No worries. Little tabs out of turquoise things, and I've just stitched there to close it so they're nice and closed. Then over here, I've got my buckles I've got 5 buckles, and after much deliberation, I think I've decided to go with 5 centimeters apart because it just looks just right. There's supposed to be some empty space at the bottom for the belt, but I still want it to look like it is filled up with buckles. So, pretty happy with that. And then these, I'm probably going to embroider a little hole for the that bit, whatever that bit is called, for it to go through, and then it should just close like that. This closure for the vest is not canon, but it's close enough, and I really like how these brass buckles look anyway. It's quite striking. Now I want you guys to have no disillusions of the fact that I didn't struggle with this lining, because I had to unpick like twice on one of the lines to figure out how I was doing it, because it's weird and it flips over. You have it here and then it goes zoom, and but here's the lining. I'm about to turn it inside out. Good morning. It is 8 a.m. and I am up, ready. I've just showered. I'm ready to get onto Flynn Rider. I think this is like the 3rd or the 4th day that I've been working on this vest, and genuinely, I really thought that it would take less time than this. I think I definitely underestimated how long the quilting would take, and then how, I think everyone says that. Everyone's like, quilting takes so long, and I don't believe them because it's just a bunch of straight lines. But that's the problem. It's a bunch of straight lines that you have to like mark out, rule, carefully stitch to make sure that they remain straight. So I think I get it now. I mean, I don't fully get it because I haven't made a quilt, I just made a vest, but I think I'm understanding more. And then yesterday, like I really thought that I was gonna get it finished yesterday. I was like, yeah, by yesterday evening I'll get it finished. But the buckles and making each individual tabs of fabric to connect the buckles onto the vest also took way longer than I thought. So it got to about like 8:40, and I was like so tired. I've been working on Flynn Rider all day, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go and watch some TV and then go to bed because I need to wake up tomorrow and then work on it. But by that point I was on to putting in the sleeves. So I put in the lining, also not without struggle, because I have put in linings before, but it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I stitched it on the wrong side. Listen, it's in the past, the lining is in now, but I didn't line, like the raw edges on the sleeves are still there. So what I'm currently doing is I'm sewing on the sleeves, and then I'm using the lining of the sleeves to cover that raw edge. But the way that I sewed the sleeves was wrong. I sewed them like a collar, not like a sleeve, what I should have done is like sew both the lining and the outside like a sleeve, and then, you know what, yeah, and then put them together like you would a lining, but instead I sewed like a corner like a collar because it's just a short sleeve, which is also fine. It just means that there's some bulky things. Oh, and this morning already, because I actually got up at 6 and was in my pajamas and sewing, this morning I have already broken 2 needles. I haven't broken any needles in the project, but it's because we're getting to the end of the project and now it's like 6 layers of fabric that I'm sewing through. To be fair, I also do have, like, and they're just universal needles. I could get bigger needles, but I don't want to buy needles. I only have 2 left, so I can't really break any more. Well, I don't really want to break any more. Ideally, I didn't break any needles. I was gonna brag like I haven't broken any needles until this morning, so. As you can see, we have some sleeves, which is joyous, very amazing. I love them. I love the sleeves a lot. They're so cute. They're like, oh. And look, we're fully lined. We're fully lined. Let me show you. Huzzah! Perfect. And I'll show you up here. Literally the last thing we have to do is I gotta put in these little bros, and they've got to go right there along the sleeve. How am I gonna put these in? I don't know. It looks so clean. I'm like, I don't want to. Can I not? Nah, it's part of it. It'll look good with the studs as well. I'm so happy with how it turned out. So I put all of these in. Now, they're the least glamorous thing about this because I'll show you. I literally hot glued them in. Maybe I'll cover them with a little felt patch. I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping that with the shirt on, you won't even be able to notice that it's on, and it will just be like totally fine. But oh my gosh. So all that's literally left to do is to figure out how these are gonna attach to these. Currently, I'm pretty happy with just, as in to test it, I can just kind of feed it through. And have a like, oh yeah, look, it attaches. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Look at that. We've finished it all up. Look at that. And we're both in our cosplays. And I also made a frying pan to go with it. Ta-da! Yeah, pretty slay. Pretty slay if you ask me. What do you have to say about it?
Really like it. I think you did a great job. I think it's fantastic.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you like it.